Hello you all, Brando Soul back again to do a new video. Yeah, I was messing around right there, but I'm just so excited because this album I've been wanting to talk to you all about for a while. It is the 30th anniversary of the Jacksons' victory. One of the interesting, controversial periods in Jackson history. It was the 14th album by the Jacksons overall. It was the first album and only album to include all 6 Jackson brothers collaborating together as an official group. It was also the last entirely recorded with lead singer Michael Jackson. The album sold over 7 million copies worldwide, opening at number 4 on the US Billboard 200. Okay, so that's a pretty decent showing for a Jackson's record. A bit of a disappointing run. On October 30th, 1984, the album was certified 2 times platinum by RIAA, the Recording Industry Association of America, for the sales of over 2 million copies in the United States. I've always looked at victory, and you know, don't get me wrong, I understand its importance. I understand the impact that it had made at the time. It's a bit of a come down from the masterpieces that were Destiny and Triumph. This album was a bit of a compilation of sorts, in my opinion, because you had the Jackson brothers actually putting some material together that they had been working on solo-wise, and you had them collaborating in these different sources, and you had, you know, a bit of camaraderie going on with amongst the brothers, because it was just a very tense period. I mean, it was, Michael had gotten big, so you really couldn't, I mean, they couldn't tell him anything at that point. Michael was riding off the success of Thriller, which, I mean, Thriller was a beast unto itself. I mean, and I can only imagine. I wasn't even born in 1982, so, or 1983, so I can't even, 84, those years I wasn't even born in, but I can only imagine that Michael was at Mount Olympus. He was on Mount Olympus in terms of pop stardom. So him returning with his brothers, and you know, them wanting to do the material that they wanted to do, and then you had tour and all of this. I mean, it was just a big mess. It was a big mess. The first song of this album is Torture. Torture is one of my favorite songs on this album. It was actually one of my introductions to the Jacksons, period. Michael, Jermaine, all of them. That song in particular was my introduction, and to me it's the perfect opener for this album. I mean, the way the synthesizer comes in, and it just, I mean, it's a throbbing synthesizer lines. I mean, it's really just that funk rock edge that just pulls at you, and it just like demands your attention. I like how that one opened. The next song is Wait. This is a great song. I love Wait. Wait has that catchy pop 1980s beat groove to it. It's still soulful. You have Jackie really taking the lead here, and he, you know, because he is the songwriter of this particular song, and again, it has that infectious pop groove. And I mean, Michael rips during this song. Near the end of this song, he just rips it apart. Like his voice, I mean, you can tell the intensity of Michael's voice on this track. I mean, it's so catchy, and it's one of those songs that I wish would have been a single. I wish it would have been pushed out more, and I think that's one of the problems with this album, of why, you know, commercially it didn't really match the impact of everything else that happened during that tour. The next track, track number 3, is One More Chance, which was written by none other than brother Randy Jackson. This song would have to be, out of all of the songs on the album, this would have to be my favorite song on Victory. Oh my God, One More Chance is just, words can't even explain. This ballad is just soulful. I mean, it definitely has that, I kind of think, I gotta describe it as like a little, you know, for some it's kind of cheesy in a way. It has that cheesy computerized synthesizer groove to it, but it still retains so much soulfulness that defined, you know, a lot of their records, the Jackson's records. I mean, Randy is just underrated to me, and this song just proves that he could write melodies, he could write a great song. Then the 4th track, you have Be Not Always, which of course was written by Michael Jackson and Marlon Jackson. It's one of my favorites as well. Be Not Always is, some will say that it was Michael's first dig at songs about humanity. I wouldn't say it was his first, but I would say it's definitely one of the more underappreciated songs he's had regarding humanity and, you know, love and all of that. So for the next song, we have State of Shock, which is probably, well, without a doubt, the most popular song on this album. I've never been as crazy about State of Shock. Originally this was supposed to be released with the Freddie Mercury version, which Michael did record with Freddie Mercury for this song, but for some reason it just did not. It was like a demo version, but for some reason it just didn't work out. So they got Mick Jagger from the Rolling Stones, and yeah, that's the version that was on the album. This has not been one, like I said, this is not one of my favorite songs on the album, but it is funky as hell. And then the next track is We Can Change the World, which was written by Tito Jackson and Wayne Arnold. Yeah, I mean, it's a decent song. I will not say, I can't say that it's the most memorable. Tito does a nice vocal. I've never really recognized Tito as much of a vocalist per se, but he holds his own on this song. It's just, again, not one of my favorites. And then for the 7th track, we have The Hurt. I don't know why I love this song, because a lot of people hate The Hurt. People hate, I mean, a lot of people from the MJ community hate this song with a passion. But I've always loved this song. And it's not so much the vocal, because Randy is singing, you know, does the lead on here, but it has that rhythm that just, I mean, it's so funky. It has that to me, it captures the essence of that Jackson rhythm and groove that you really go into. I mean, to me, that's remarkable. And then the way it builds up, the rhythm track and the groove of the song, the way it just builds and builds and builds. To me, that makes it one of my favorites on this album. And for the final track, of course, we have Body, which was written by none other than Marlon Jackson. And yes, this is my least favorite song on the album. I've never liked this song at all. But of course, you know, in true Marlon fashion, it's a fun track. But I've never liked it. It has a fun production to it. To me, it's just too okie doke to, I don't know, it's just not one of my favorites. You know, Victory was a great period. It was a great time to be a Jackson fan, and it was I'm just so glad that it's celebrated over 30 years. We can look back at it, we can look back at its misfires, at its triumphs, at everything, and we can say that it definitely was one of the many highlights in the Jackson saga. I mean, Michael, Jermaine, Tito, Marlon, Randy, all 6 brothers together again, for better or for worse, and pairing up to do a new album, to tour again, to do all of that, and it spoke for itself. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did, and I will be back with some more stuff in the future. So rate, comment, subscribe, tell me what you remember about Victory. A good time, but it just ended bad. So thank you again, and hope to see you later. Pull out Victory.